岡島さんは今何をおっしゃいと言いますか。あなた遅いです。
The 100-Foot Journey. If you look at the advertisement for this film, you're going to notice that they make it look like a Helen Merriam story. She plays the French woman who owns the restaurant across from this Indian family that opened up a restaurant in France. But that is completely deceptive. This is not a Helen Merriam story. She is a secondary character. The main character in this story is played by Manish Dayal, and he plays a character called Hassan. Hassan is the chief cook for the Indian family, and this is a story about him and his family, and Helen Merriam is only playing a secondary role in here. So, due to racism in the film industry, we see her placed forward to try and attract a white audience. This is not the case. You're being fooled. Don't believe it. It's a story about an Indian family who has to leave India to continue on with the restaurant business, and they are superb at what they do. They apparently have been doing it for running food industry, restaurant business for generations by the looks of it, because they have there's this little box of spices that the family passes down through generations. And apparently the mother of this family didn't quite make it when they immigrated to England from India after losing it in some type of, I don't know if it was a revolution as much as it was an action of a bunch of thugs who destroyed the restaurant. But there's no indication of why she died. Anyway, they go to England, they try to set up as they were in India, and they had this tent to cook their food in, which was a complete disaster because it rained so much in England. And plus they had the restaurant opened up the cheapest land possible, which was at the end of a runway, and planes are flying overhead all the time. It was a disaster, so they decided to go to continental Europe. They find their way through Germany or Holland into France. They set up the restaurant across from this French restaurant, and there's this competition to achieve a Michelin star, trying to get the 4th star, which is a restaurant that's almost godlike. And this Indian family takes over this small previous business that went under. And the French restaurant across, which is run by the Miriam character, she cannot stand these people and doesn't want them in there as competition. So she tries to sabotage their efforts at the beginning, but she's a woman who has principle and who has heart, so that she sees the immigrants not as an enemy to France, but as part of the development of France, and has to deal with one of her chefs being a racist who employs the use of thugs to try to beat up and destroy the restaurant through fire. Her competition, the Indian restaurant, to make them move away. She fires this guy and then develops a friendship with this competition across the street from her. And the two begin to help each other out and understand each other and continue on with their mutual cooperation. But one is a French restaurant, one is an Indian restaurant. The son eventually develops a love affair with the female cook, played by a Canadian. I don't know her name at the moment, but she helps him learn how to make French food, so that he eventually gets a job with her in the French restaurant, leaves the Indian restaurant, and he's so good at what he does because he's a master chef that he becomes one of the top line chefs in France, and he moves away to Paris to work there. Finds that he misses his family, he misses this girl, He misses the old French restaurant, and he has to come back to this little town where this restaurant exists. And that's the end of the story. This isn't like a murder mystery type of story. This is more of a human interest type of story. A love affair for food. If you like food, exotic food, you like watching it being created, you like watching it being sampled, this is a great movie to watch. And it is a fairly friendly movie, and you do feel good afterwards from watching it. This is a great film. I highly recommend it, especially if you love the look of Paris or you love the French countryside. You will love this movie very much, and it's got a great story running through it. It is comical. There's a lot of humor here. It isn't riotous humor. It is gentle humor, but it's a very enjoyable film. I highly recommend it.